In a candid interview with the BBC, Theresa May has said she shed a little tear on hearing of the exit poll on election night, predicting that she'd lost her Conservative majority that she'd inherited from David Cameron. She said she'd known the campaign hadn't been going, in her words, perfectly, and said she felt devastated on hearing the result. The Prime Minister declined to say how long she'll stay in power and reissued her call for opposition parties to work with the government to deliver Brexit. She's been speaking to BBC Radio 5 Live's Emma Barnett.
It started so well. All the talk was about how much you were going to win by, how big that extra majority could be. When did you first have an inkling it might not be going according to plan?
Well, I think as the campaign was going on, I realised that everything wasn't going perfectly, but throughout the whole campaign, the expectation still was that the result would be a different one, a better one for us than it was. We didn't see the result that came coming.
When was that moment for you, though, of realisation?
Well, it was when I heard the exit poll. To be honest with you, I didn't actually watch the exit poll myself. I had a little bit of superstition about things like that. My husband watched it for me and came and told me. And I was shocked at the result that had come through in the exit poll. It took a few minutes for it to sort of sink in what that was telling me. My husband gave me a hug. And then I got on the phone to CCHQ, to the Conservative Party.
And when you had that hug, did you have a cry? How did you feel?
Well, I felt, I suppose, devastated, really.
Devastated enough to shed a tear?
Yes, a little tear.
Yes. At that moment, that private moment?
At that moment, yes.
You had no idea this was going to go like this. You've explained how the campaign works. Why should people feel confident that you're any good at reading the mood music of a room, especially when you go to Brussels to do that deal, on the basis that you had no idea that your campaign wasn't going well?
Well, look, what I've said was that I knew that the campaign wasn't going perfectly. So I'm not sitting here and saying...
It's rather more dramatic than that.
I'm not sitting here and saying this was, everything was going so swimmingly and so forth. I knew that it wasn't a perfect campaign, but what I also knew was that I was doing the job that I thought was important at the time, which was talking to people about the challenges that the country faces.
You have to get Brexit through the Commons. Can you guarantee you'll get the numbers, that you personally are able, with the political nous, to do the necessary deals to get Brexit through the Commons?
Well, the first thing about getting Brexit through the Commons is to get a good Brexit deal from the European Union.
But you can't do it without the Commons, so can you guarantee that you can get it through?
What I want to do is to get a good deal from the European Union, and I would hope that people across the House of Commons, regardless of party, will see the importance of that deal for the future of Britain.
Prime Minister, are you a feminist?
I have said yes before, yes. I've said that I'm a feminist, in that I believe that it's important that women genuinely have equal opportunities.
Why do you think then that young women, if you're talking a lot about the future, didn't vote for you? 73% of women aged 18 to 24 voted for a 68-year-old man in the form of Jeremy Corbyn. Why don't they see you as their hope, as their leader?
This is one of the things that I've been involved in during my political career, is trying to ensure that we get more women into Parliament, yes. But on the basis that I don't want people to think, oh, I'm going to vote for a woman or I'm going to vote for a man when they look at these things.
You could, if you don't see somebody doing the role, though, you don't necessarily believe it's possible, and it can be very inspirational.
It can be very inspirational, and there's lots of, when I became Prime Minister, I had a lovely story of a friend whose little 6-year-old daughter sort of said, oh, Mummy, I didn't realise a girl could do that job. And so
if she'd got to 18, the stats show she would have voted for Jeremy Corbyn.
Yeah, I think for some young people there were issues. Obviously, I think for a lot of students there were issues around the question of their fees and university education. Just
say to me now, sitting here in this office, you have been on a long journey to get to this point. What would you say to your younger self?
Oh gosh, this is one of those, what would I write if I was to a 16-year-old Theresa May?
Theresa May, who's always been interested in politics, as far as I can see.
I think what I would write to my younger self is believe in yourself, always do the right thing, and you know, work hard to tackle injustice when you see it.